Liberia.
From Colombia, Roldanillo.
From Faisalabad, Pakistan.
Paola, desde Cabarete,
República Dominicana.
¡Nos encanta leer!
Story from Riwa, Rwanda.
Desde Masaya, Nicaragua.
From Kenia.
From Camuapa, Nicaragua.
From Morocco, and I'm back the story.
From the LitWorld team in New York, be the story.
Wherever you are, don't just read the story, be the story.
Welcome everyone to our first ever virtual World of Stories Gala. We're so excited to have you all with us tonight. We had RSVPs from over 10 different countries and all over the United States. So even though I'm sorry we're not together in person, I'm really thrilled to be bringing together such an incredible group of LitWorld friends, family. We just have the very best community. My name is Dorothy Lee, and I am LitWorld's Executive Director. I'm beaming in from Brooklyn, New York, in my daughter's bedroom, which doubles as a museum and triples as my video production studio. And I hope you will all introduce yourselves in the chat. You can type on the side next to this show and share where you're tuning in from as well. And if you feel like it, your connection to LitWorld too. And you can also make us full screen. So if you just want to sit back and relax, there's a little button in the lower right-hand corner of the video. And if you want to come back so you can get to the important donate button and the chat, you can just hit escape like you're watching a YouTube video. There's also closed captioning available in case you want that and didn't catch that already. It's in the FAQ, and we'll also be sharing that in the chat. I'm so excited to now welcome our board chair, Sam, to the screen with me.
Hi, Dorothy. I'm ready to go with my reading crown and so excited.
Awesome.
Good evening, everyone. A big echo of thanks to Dorothy's point. I am just absolutely so excited to be virtually with everyone tonight. As Dorothy said, my name is Samantha Siegel. I'm honored to be sharing this event with you as the new chair of the LitWorld Board of Directors. I also have the auspicious honor of delivering a few more logistics announcements ahead of tonight's event, so bear with me for just a moment. First of all, if you have your Lit Kit handy, we hope you're enjoying the goodies inside. Those cookies are amazing and they will complement the event perfectly. If you would like to share photos of yourself looking Reading Crown fabulous or generally just enjoying the event, please don't forget to tag on social media with World of Stories 2021. And whether you received a Lit Kit in the mail or not, everyone should have received a bingo card via email. So throughout the night, keep an ear out for words on your card. Thank you, Dorothy, for our demonstration. When you get bingo, don't forget to shout it out in the chat and a fun surprise will be on its way to you. And finally, we are here tonight for two very important reasons. The first is to celebrate together the amazing work of LitWorld around the world. And the second, of course, is to raise lots of great money to keep doing this work. Donating is as easy as pressing the little yellow button on the left side of your screen or texting the number that shows right now. You don't even have to leave the main show to do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. Well, let's raise a quick glass. Here, I guess I'll do it this way.
Cheers.
And clink. Thank you all again for being here. Thank you, Sam, for helping us throughout the night, and we will see you later on. Also, a reminder that for every donation made tonight, you will be automatically entered to win a pair of round-trip flights anywhere within the continental US. And a big thanks to our longtime sponsor and supporter, Kylie Schuyler, for making that possible. Of course, a huge theme of tonight is gratitude. So I'll just take a few minutes to call out some of the people and groups who have gotten LitWorld here. Our amazing leadership groups, our board of directors, our emeritus board, our founder. We would not be here without each of you. Our advisory council and young professionals network, thank you for your constant support and inspiration. And of course, to our staff who make it all happen, including right now behind the scenes. If you hear us calling out any names, Monica, Ilana, those are people who are making the magic happen. And of course, also a special thanks tonight to our amazing sponsors. Lotto Love, they do this really fun scratch off card. You should definitely check them out. That comes to us year round. Story Arts as well. We have an ongoing % of sale from them. We're so grateful to be with you both. Penguin Random House, we're so glad to have you with us tonight and this year overall. You publish such incredible books for readers of all ages. Jackson Lewis, you've been with us from the start, carrying on Bill Krupman's legacy. We're so glad to have you as a table sponsor. And Scholastic, we partner with you on so many things that we do, spreading Lit Camp, World Read Aloud Day. If you haven't yet, save the date, 2/2/22, February 2nd, 2022 is the next World Read Aloud Day, and also as a table sponsor tonight. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. We also want to take a moment to express some gratitude in remembrance of two amazing people who were so critical in getting LitWorld where it is today and who are sadly no longer with us. The Honorable Ken Okoth sparked LitWorld's very first partnership. He has an incredible story. He was raised in the slum of Kibera in Nairobi, Kenya, and grew up to represent Kibera as a member of the Kenyan Parliament. Ken was teaching history here in the US and met LitWorld's founder, Pam, while he was here. He was so excited about the way she spoke about education and asked him to share her approach with his home community. And LitWorld still partners there in Kibera with Kenya Education Fund to this day. Ken sadly passed away in 2019 and he's dearly missed. He's here with our former team member, Madison, in our very, very first Lit Camp before it was even called Lit Camp. And of course, Dick Robinson, the longtime CEO and chairman of Scholastic, who was a lifelong advocate for the reading lives of children. He suddenly passed away just a week and a half ago. He was a champion of LitWorld's mission right from the beginning, partnering with us so that World Read Aloud Day could reach as far as possible, to make sure that Lit Camp could be just what kids and teachers needed to thrive with books as their allies, and to let the world know that every child can be a super reader. Dick was always in sync with our core value of putting children's perspectives at the heart of the work. And he also always loved a great celebration. He's here with Pam at our last in-person World of Stories Gala in 2019. Ken and Dick, we thank you both for playing such instrumental roles in the LitWorld story, and we are so proud that our work will continue to be part of your legacies. Now we will have a chance to hear from one of our amazing Lit Club mentors. Suli runs Lit Clubs through our partnership with Fabretto in Nicaragua, and here's a glimpse into our programs together.
Mi nombre es Zuli, soy docente y laboro en la biblioteca Saxi Perky en el municipio de San Juan de Oriente, departamento de Masaya. Me desempeño como mentora atendiendo el I-Club Mixto, el cual lleva el nombre de Saxi Perky y está integrado por niños y niñas de esta hermosa comunidad. He tenido la oportunidad de estar en el I-Club como mentora desde hace 3 años. Para mí ha sido una bonita experiencia y gracias al apoyo de la familia Padre Fabretto y del programa de LitWorld por permitirme durante este periodo servirles con amor, cariño y empeño a los niños y niñas de la comunidad de San Juan de Oriente. A través del programa de LitClub he tenido la oportunidad de acercarme a los padres y madres de familia para que ellos apoyen a sus hijos, fomentar en los niños y niñas el deseo de superación personal a través de metas que ellos se plantean, a que ellos reconozcan cuáles son sus deberes y sus derechos, despertar en ellos el interés de ayudar con espíritu de servicio a la familia, a la comunidad y a la escuela. Me siento muy feliz de promover la lectura en los programas de LitClub porque sé que a través de la lectura ayudamos a forjar una mejor sociedad. Me siento más empoderada y comprometida con el trabajo que realizo con los niños y niñas. Para mí ha sido una experiencia ya que me ha permitido desarrollarme como persona y como maestra al servir a mi comunidad y la familia a través del programa de LitWorld y poder ayudar en la formación de sus hijas e hijos. Durante este periodo de pandemia ha sido muy difícil, ya que hemos dejado de ver a los niños y niñas y nos hacían falta cada semana en las diferentes sesiones del LitClub, ya que ellos han pasado a formar parte de nuestra vida laboral. Ahora que ya estamos de regreso me siento más comprometida, me siento más animada. Igual los niños se sienten felices, ellos expresan sus sentimientos y además que comparten cada una de sus experiencias que han tenido durante esta etapa.
I always love hearing right from the community-based leaders who are running LitWorld programs on the ground every day. Your support is making that happen. Thank you so much. Now it is my pleasure to introduce two incredible people who we are honored to call LitWorld leaders, Pam Allen and Ernest Morel. As you've heard, Pam is the founder of LitWorld. She is a groundbreaking literacy expert and true advocate for children. She's the author of a whopping 26 books for educators and families. Dr. Ernest Morel is the director of the University of Notre Dame's Center for Literacy Education and Associate Dean, as well as a professor of literacy, English, race, and resilience, and other topics too. We are so proud that he is a LitWorld board member. Together, 5 years ago, Ernest and Pam co-authored Every Child a Super Reader, which shares LitWorld's 7 Strengths social-emotional framework, and has brought our approach to tens of thousands of educators and impacted millions of children across the country. Between Pam and Ernest, there is such deep expertise in the field of literacy, education, and simply what kids and families need. We are so grateful to have them in our leadership and for their life-changing work. And I am pleased to turn it over to the two of them to share some of their insights. Hi, Pam and Ernest. I'll let you take it away.
Hey, Dorothy. Thanks. Hey, Pam.
Hey, Ernest. Hi, everybody. Great to see you. I love to be with you at this amazing event and to be surrounded by so much love for the children and all the stories they tell.
It's great to be here. It's so good. I think this is my 10th gala, and it's just amazing to watch the videos and to see how much LitWorld has grown and what good it does for people all over the world.
And when I think about when we first started together, all of us, and there's so many people in this virtual space who are together with us and have been together from the beginning, I think about the very first seed of the idea that came from a photograph in the pocket of a little girl in Kibera, Kenya, who brought a photograph of her mother out of her pocket to tell me the story of her life and her past. And we recognized in that moment that the power of literacy is what we carry, is what children carry with them. Ernest, I want to ask you if you could to share with the people together with us here tonight, the urgency of LitWorld in these moments, in these days ahead, in all the work to come. What is the urgency of this moment to you as someone who's been with us and been an instrumental part in the work of LitWorld and building this work together?
Yeah, thanks, Pam, for the question. I think of it in two ways, the bad news and the good news. The bad news is that we know of all the divides, whether they're digital, geographic, socioeconomic, gender, racial, or linguistic. And because of those divides, children experience very different opportunities for learning and development. And those different opportunities come with really great consequences for their life outcomes. I mean, the research is unequivocal on this point. literacy and community programs, they can make a world of difference in the lives of children and families, and they can make a different world. The good news is that the real urgency of this moment is the movement, largely ushered in by the pandemic and social unrest for racial equity. It's a move that's child-centered, it's parent and community and family-centered, story-centered, and project-centered. As you and I have talked about a lot, Pam, this movement is ushering in a call for real changes in learning opportunities in school and out of school. Never in our lifetimes have we seen this blank a slate to recreate learning in these formal and informal settings. The question really is, who is going to participate in the recreation of global literacy education? What organizations are going to step forward and offer new solutions and new vantage points? When I think about, the inequalities and the headwinds, I also think this is as exciting time as I've ever seen in my almost 30 years of literacy education. If we think about this exciting moment, we think about LitWorld. Maybe, Pam, you can talk to us about what would make LitWorld a unique solution in these amazing times.
Well, I think something you and I have talked a lot about, and I think everybody here feels it too, is that the work that LitWorld started so many years ago was the work that comes close to the essence of the internal life of the child. Centering the life of the child and the stories of children is the work that we began and that LitWorld continues to do and needs to do right now into the urgency of this moment. And as you say, into the next chapter we're going to tell in the story of literacy education. Literacy as defined as, yes, reading, writing, speaking, listening, but also in valuing the narratives of all people. LitWorld has always worked so closely side by side with local communities in their own languages, valuing, honoring, cherishing culture, ancestors, elders. That is the work that LitWorld did and has done all along from the very start. So for me, the work is, yes, it's so urgent. And it's also the work we learned from Diana and the photograph in her pocket, that very first day that LitWorld came to be. And all the days that came since then, when Dick Robinson so famously approached us and said, how can we get LitCamp to many, many millions more children? Because I see so much the urgency in that moment. And that was many years ago now. We've reached millions of children with that program and others. Today, I wish Dick were here with us tonight. He loved the Gala. He loved coming as leading the hugest, biggest children's book publisher in the world. He himself could see the value of that tender moment that LitWorld works on, the side-by-side moments, listening deeply to children, the stories of their lives, revering their own stories, cherishing their own stories. That's really going to be the change this world needs, is that we finally do at last hear the voices of the most vulnerable and actually create those safe spaces of belonging and connection that story brings. I miss the people who are not with us tonight, but I also am so inspired by the young people joining our LitWorld Young Professionals Network and our amazing board, all these incredible people, and all the people who are here with us tonight, because LitWorld really is about the power of story. It's about the connection and the bonding and the depth of love between people. And it's also finally about the local partnerships led by women and young people and people who have historically been very marginalized, who have come to the fore. LitWorld's, the funds we raise go right to those communities, straight right there. And I think more than ever before, local communities are going to change the world. Ernest, I thank you for all the work that you've done in bringing that work to the national platform and to helping us to spread the word of LitWorld. And I think we're together, all of us, everybody here today. We're so grateful to all the people making donations tonight and right now. That work is the work of the child's story, the centering of that story.
Well, thank you, Pam. It's been such a pleasure to work with you all these years. And one thing I learned from you is that ideas become flesh in the minds of creators and geniuses. And to see all of your wonderful ideas from LitWorld to World Read Aloud Day to Lit Camps and go on and on. So congratulations for that. But before we retire, we have a lot more work to do together and on behalf of LitWorld.
For sure. We're here for that. And I'm glad everybody else is too. So thank you, Ernest. I love you so much and love to everybody who's here.
Thank you both so much for everything you do in the world and for LitWorld. And we're so happy that you were able to be part of this special night.
Thanks for everything, Dorothy. Keep the great work going.
Absolutely. See you in the chat. All right, well, I'll welcome Sam back again. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Dorothy. You know, I'm so moved by the call to action that Ernest and Pam just issued to all of us, and this idea of stories being a safe space. It's so powerful, and it's true for our Lit kids, but it's true for all of us at this moment too. I'm just, every time, you know, Pam and Ernest speak, I am moved by the wanting to change the world. So I want to thank both of them for the wisdom and perspective and passion that they've brought to LitWorld for over a decade. And I would go so far as to say that their leadership is definitely one of our greatest superpowers.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Well, we're hearing on the back end that the donations are starting to flood in, which is really exciting. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Peter, Judy. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Rondi. We're so excited and so grateful for your contributions.
Absolutely, and please keep them coming. I mean, a chance for those tickets. It is vaccination season, everyone. So everyone get in your donations and get a chance at those tickets.
Absolutely. And I would love to share a little bit more about the impact that you're making with your donations. In some parts of the world, only $10,000 can support one of our partners' entire LitWorld program implementation for a year. This amazing Lit Club here is in Uganda with our partner Art of a Child. They work with vulnerable communities in and around Kampala. They run Lit Clubs for kids, for moms, an amazing mobile library program, and a community center. For $5,000, you can support the launch and running of a brand new innovation project. This is a new idea that we've just been working on throughout COVID times, and we're so excited to be launching it next year. It's going to give 10 of our partners a chance to come up with a new innovation idea and try it out next year. Our partner in Pakistan, shown here, Seeds of Hope, is working on an idea for literacy programming for parents in the area of Faisalabad where they work, because so many of the adults have not had the chance to go through school. Other partners of ours have done this work, such as Go Ye Therefore in Zambia, and they're all sharing their ideas and collaborating with each other, which we're so excited to be hearing about. $2,500 can support the salary of a partnership coordinator. We can't make any of this work happen without these incredible coordinators. Here is an amazing Lit Club in rural Honduras with our partner Un Mundo, and our coordinator, Gerson, has been collaborating with us there since 2016, and he is totally essential to running the 25 Lit Clubs and reaching over 250 children and families there each year. Every dollar counts and goes so far with LitWorld. With $500, you can support World Read Aloud Day. We mentioned it earlier. In case you don't know, World Read Aloud Day is our big advocacy day. On the social media side, it reaches not over 900 million impressions, and we activate people in over 170 countries. But with our grassroots partners, $500 can make an entire community celebration happen. Our partner here in India, Center for Development, sent home PPE, books, and snacks to over 130 families, and they were also able to have some small-scale, safe celebrations in person. And with just $100, you can support so many different things. PPE supplies, soap, masks, hand sanitizer, of course, books, notebooks, so the kids can express themselves and share their own stories, like this group here, which is the Flash Lit Club in Rwanda with our amazing partner, Ready for Reading.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. It's unbelievable how much good can be done with just a small contribution to the organization. It has such a tremendous ripple effect, and thank you for taking us through it.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, everyone, I am so honored to be back with you again. And I wanted to take just a moment to share my LitWorld story and to say that I am here and have been here for the past few years because I believe so passionately in the work that LitWorld is doing to fundamentally change the world. I truly believe that. And in this moment of reflection that we've all just come through, I couldn't believe that so deeply, even more, any more than I do, and am just so grateful to be part of this journey. I'm also here in this capacity because I have the honor of following in the footsteps of our powerful former board chairs in Sue Atkins, Ellen Fredericks, and Amy Capone. So I do want to really quickly thank them for paving the way for future generations of LitWorld board service and for all the time and wisdom that they've passed on to me directly. You're hearing a lot about the work tonight, but there's just no replacement for directly seeing the impact on the kids LitWorld serves. The power of the work, Pam and Ernest alluded to this, it's so complex, but it's also really simple. It's smiles, it's friendship, it is the power to have the confidence to tell your own story and the wherewithal to do that and go and share that with the world. It's a raw joy in being a lit kid. It's a charge of power that can be carried into every part of life. So I think the best way to recognize this and to celebrate it is in the words of lit kids themselves. So let's sit back for a moment and hear directly from some of the amazing kids in our lit clubs.
¿Qué es importante para mí LitWorld? 1. Porque aprendemos a leer.
There's great literacy and creativity among us teens and the little kids.
LitWorld has helped me increase my vocabulary by gaining access to storybooks, and I really thank God for that.
I have improved my language. I can write, I can draw.
كانت تعجبني الحصة ديال LitWorld لأني قاطة واتساب تنتعلم منها.
A mí me gusta mucho el libro porque allá me enseñan muchos cuentos, muchas cosas. Y además leemos juntos y nos divertimos. Nos enseñan a amar la lectura.
They read for meaning, and what is most important is they read for pleasure.
LitWorld has given the children, the girls, the boys in Kibera, in Kawangware, in Lodwar, and in Kayole a family, a sense of belonging, a place where they can come to talk, to share, to express themselves.
No es solo un lugar donde los niños se reúnen, es más que eso.
LitWorld es una familia. LitWorld es mi familia.
It creates a friendly and fun environment that you can call home.
It enables kids to come together, have fun together, and share experiences together.
Que puedo convivir con mis amigos y aprender cosas nuevas.
I have been able to make friends with mentors and my fellow Lit Club members.
Hacemos más amigos y también aprendemos que solo no hay un amigo en el mundo, hay más.
It has also helped us to feel that we belong somewhere and we are all wanted in a community and we are worth something.
Before I came to LitWorld, I didn't know how to write, I didn't know how to read, but when I came to LitWorld, I became confident.
LitWorld has really helped me. It's one of the clubs that can make me stand out to the bullies and ask questions in class.
LitWorld is an open space for me, so I can tell all my things.
Before Lit Club, I was very shy, but now I have developed confidence and courage.
It gives me the chance to express myself and my ideas.
More girls now want to go complete to school and go for the higher education. Boys from Lit Club now share the work with their mothers and sisters too.
They care for and help their families, their friends and community.
Me ha enseñado a ser mejor persona. Lo que realmente importa en la vida es lo que hacemos por los demás.
In the year 2020, my LitWorld experience was that I couldn't attend much of the Lit Club sessions because schools were closed, but LitWorld was able to come through with virtual Lit Clubs where we learned through the phones. Now, we are able to learn at school with face masks, social distance, and washing hands. Thank you to LitWorld for the support before and after the COVID-19.
LitWorld has changed the lives of our children.
It has made a lot of things really possible for us.
it has created a positive impact, especially for the kids and communities at large.
These children have become confident and compassionate leaders in their community.
They have the necessary tools to become game changers and to change the fate of their native homeland.
I totally changed in my life because of LitWorld.
Me siento muy agradecida porque los de LitWorld.
Nosotros, como personas, le agradecemos mucho a LitWorld, ya que nos han dado la experiencia necesaria para, como personas, llegar a ser o a lograr un mundo mejor.
Lograremos cambiar el mundo.
Hello again. I am so grateful for these testimonials from our Lit kids. Not only do they tell a powerful global story of resilience, they also simply help me remember just how much has happened in the last year and a half. In my household, my daughter has somehow transformed from a toddler into a kid, full of a 5-year-old's curiosity, wisdom, and confidence. She is the first to remind me to put on my mask when we leave the house. I read the other day that between January 2020 and January 2021, searches online for the question, what is gratitude, increased nearly 500%. What is gratitude? We have all had this chance to re-examine what is important to us. The period of transformation that we are experiencing as a global community overflows with testaments to the power of stories, the power of voice, the power we have when we can access and understand information, and the power we lose when we are cut off from this access. Right now, so many of our partner communities are in extreme distress. The news from India is not making headlines here today, but right now, our local coordinators are distributing emergency supplies to help families survive so that they can get back to work and school and Lit clubs intact. You may not have heard much about the protests in Colombia, but our Lit club graduates and many others are still in the streets, standing up and raising their voices for what they believe in, because they see their government taking advantage of the people and communities they love. And at the same time, there is so much hope. You heard it from Suli in Nicaragua, sharing her relief and excitement about being back in person with her Lit club members. You heard it from so many Lit kids around the globe as they shared how this past year and a half, they have especially treasured books, stories, and safe spaces for sharing their worries and building their dreams. We are seeing it in the photos already coming in from teachers starting their summer Lit camps in schools across the US, expressing such deep joy at being together with their kids, sitting around tissue paper campfires on the floors of their classrooms to read together. This is the world of stories we work to grow every day. Thank you so much for being in this movement with us. Now I'll turn it back to Sam for some updates on how our evening is going and to introduce another special guest.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dorothy. I want to just start by thanking everyone who has donated so far. It's absolutely breathtaking. Thank you, Sue, Matthew, Johanna, for your recent donations. This is just remarkable. Monica, why don't you show us how we're doing? All right, we are off to a strong start, but we've got a ways to go. So please consider whatever amount it is that's comfortable for you. We are so truly grateful. And with that, I am absolutely excited to be joined by a very dear friend and fellow board member, Lauren Blum, who has been part of the LitWorld family for quite some time and is now chair of our fundraising committee.
Hi, everybody. Such a joy to be here. I wish I could see you, but I know you're out there, and I appreciate your support of LitWorld and being with us tonight.
And thank you, Lauren, for everything that you do and your time this evening. I'm so excited to be chatting with you for a little bit. So Lauren, you've been part of the LitWorld family for quite some time, and you've had an opportunity to see the work firsthand in your own personal travels. The way you talk about your direct experiences, I always find it so inspiring and contagious. Can you share some of your personal experiences with everyone here tonight?
Sure, absolutely. I feel so fortunate to have been able to visit the Lit clubs in Kenya and in Haiti. And I'm so glad that so many of you got to hear from the kids directly in those amazing testimonials. Because seeing the Lit clubs and meeting those kids and talking to them, hearing their stories, it really emphasizes the magnitude of the impact we're making. I remember meeting another young girl named Diana, who grew up in the slum of Kibera, who told me it wasn't until she was in a Lit club that she actually had the opportunity to make friends. Life there was so difficult. School wasn't such a safe space. And then she was home, not allowed to go out, helping her family. And, some places in the world aren't even dangerous for kids to be outside. And I've heard that from so many of the kids in our programs, they echo that it's that space for them to read, to write, to share stories and make friends, and emotionally nurturing spaces. Our programs are in places where kids don't always have that. So this alone is something that's huge.
And what do you think it is about the programming that is so transformative?
No one knows better than LitWorld. We have Pam and Ernest and all these great thinkers and educators who know all the best ways to cultivate a love of reading. And we know when kids read for pleasure, they just soar academically. But what's really unique about LitWorld's programs is how all our curriculum is built around the core values that we know make kids strong and resilient. We call them the 7 strengths. And in addition to literacy skills, kids develop social emotional skills, character, leadership skills, and those skills really help them advocate for themselves and their communities. And they become those game changers that we've been talking about. One example is Shreya, who came to New York as a representative of her Lit Club in Nepal through a summit, a Lit Club summit that was sponsored by the Her Story Project and our wonderful partner in that, Global Glow. And it was held during the UN's Commission on the Status of Women. And Shreya talked about her community action program that she did with her Lit Club partners. They eradicated the dowry system in their community. I mean, how huge is that? They went door to door, talking to parents, speaking to them about sending their daughters to school instead of saving for their dowries. They even enlisted the local police to help work with them and go door to door. And it was amazingly successful. So something, as powerful as that, the confidence and courage that it took for them to do that, I definitely think came from their involvement in the Lit Club.
That is absolutely unbelievable. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for sharing some of your own LitWorld story with us tonight. Any last thoughts you want to leave the group with?
Yes, I definitely thank everyone for contributing. And I think your donations have a rippling effect, because in the last 12 years that LitWorld has been empowering kids, I've already seen so many graduates of our programs go on to be leaders in their communities and empower others. Like Paula in Colombia, a former Lit Club member who's now a youth activist. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for being part of our LitWorld community and part of the LitWorld story.
And thank you, Lauren. And, keep riding the high. I have some very exciting news. Yes, shooting stars. Very exciting news that we just received a $10,000 match, which means that any donations made between now and the end of the event, when we close at 8 p.m., will be matched up to $10,000. So that is huge. And, talk about a ripple effect of impact. So please consider, and let's keep on with the fun. So with that, we are now joined from the Philippines, where we will hear from Bibi, a Lit mom with our innovation partner in Manila, Project Pearls. And let's hand it over to Bibi.
Hello,
I am Bebe Soria from Project Pearls, Philippines. I have been a Lit Moms mentor since 2018, but I am a member since Lit Moms started in 2014. Mula nang maging kasali ako sa Lit Moms, mas marami ako naging kakilala at kaibigan sa aming community. Tuto akong makasama sa kanila, natuto din ako ng makasalamuha sa tao na hindi nahihiya. Na-develop yung pagiging leader ko sa aming community dahil sa activities na. Bago magkaroon ng COVID, every week ay may Lit Moms session na ginagawa namin sa Pearls Learning Center. Masaya kami nagsasama-sama ng mga members para mag-share. Pero simula nung magkaroon ng pandemic, bawal na muna ang gathering. Kaya sa bahay na lang kami nag-Lit Club. Nakakamiss ang aming mga kasama. Kailangan kasi namin sumunod at pag-iwas sa panahon. Sana dumating na yung oras na magkasama-sama kami ulit sa Lit Moms. Dati, kapitbahay ko lang ang iba sa kanila. Pero ngayon, parang pamilya na sa mga kasamahan ko sa Lit Moms.
And now it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Amber Peterson, LitWorld's Director of Program Innovation, for an interview with tonight's honoree, author Jerry Craft.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amber Peterson. I'm LitWorld's Director of Program Innovation, and it's my deep pleasure to present this year's Be the Story Award to Jerry Craft. Jerry Craft is a New York Times best-selling author-illustrator who has worked on numerous picture books, graphic novels, and middle-grade novels, including the Newbery Award-winning graphic novel New Kid and its critically acclaimed companion book, Class Act. He has won 5 African American Literary Awards and is a co-founder of the Schomburg Center's annual Black Comic Book Festival. Jerry's gift as a writer and an illustrator, and his steadfast commitment to using the power of storytelling to help children feel seen and heard, actualize LitWorld's mission of strengthening kids and communities through the power of stories. All right, and if you want to share your screen.
Absolutely. So as you see, while I'm doing this, I'm drawing a picture of Jordan Banks, who is the protagonist of New Kid.
So, we absolutely love your quote. I make the books I wish I had as a kid. LitWorld's mission is all about trying to provide that for kids all over the world. So, can you talk a little bit about what you think it means to be a storyteller and the ways that your stories and your characters explore that idea?
My goal has always been, to come up with characters, African-American characters specifically, who are kind of universal, because I just never thought that my story when I was a kid was ever really told in a sensitive way that was also empathetic. And I just really wanted to do kids that were just really good kids. Life is not perfect, but there's just a way that good kids still come out on top. There's not a whole lot of misery and the weight of the world on their shoulders, because, that was really missing. It's funny, being honored by LitWorld, because I could not think of anything that was less fun than reading when I was a kid. I did not like to read at all. And I think a lot of it was because I did not see any characters that looked like me. I did not see mirrors. But I was just so fortunate to be able to create stories that I have always wanted to see, and that I was proud for my kids to see and for other kids to see. And not just African American characters, but all kids, which is absolutely unbelievable. I did not have a school librarian until I was, I think, in 9th grade. And by then I had already realized that reading was not something that I enjoyed doing. The library in my neighborhood in Washington Heights is an amazing place now, with so many kids and colors and life. But back then it was something out of a Harry Potter novel where you go in and all the books had dust on them, and you couldn't talk, you couldn't breathe, and you expected like owls to be flying around and stuff. So I can't go back and say, oh, you know what, go and approach the librarian. I'm sure she'll be nice, because at that time it was more like a monitor, of keeping kids quiet. But yeah, it was kind of tough, So I think it would just be like, don't give up. I didn't have, like with my sons, they went from Captain Underpants to Wimpy Kid to Bone and Amulet to Percy Jackson. So I did not see that kind of progression for me. So I basically went to playing video games.
So, what do you hope that the kids and the adults who read your stories walk away with?
All my life, again, I have just wanted kids of color to just be seen as regular kids, without the weight of the world on their shoulders, and every decision is life and death, or, that kind of thing. So that when they meet people like Jordan or Drew or Kirk in real life, they don't always have these preconceived notions that they are suffering and they're in, one single parent households where they have to do everything themselves and there's no love and all that. So I just really wanted to make sure that I had kids who, had aspirations, and just wanted to be more, and have the same things that they saw kids on TV have.
As a kid who grew up looking for those stories as well, I echo that 100%. So last question here. Do you have any advice for storytellers, be they young or old?
I always get told or heard to write what you know. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't write a story about people going into outer space or monsters or whatever. But I know what it's like to kind of not fit in and have aspirations and goals that were not necessarily duplicated with my peers. So that's one of the biggest things. So the emotions that you see in New Kid in Class Act are real, because they come from my life and also my two sons. So that's a big thing. And also to finish it, because there are many of us that have been working on that novel for 40 years, and you keep changing and keep changing. And, even if you're not going to submit it, at least finish it so that you can go back and edit it. I have people that always come to me and like, hey, well, I want to be a writer. What's it like? And they'll say like, how much did you work yesterday? I said, oh, you know what? I worked from about 9 to 2. And one guy went, oh, let's see. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Wow, 6 hours. That's a lot. And I was like, no. 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, midnight, 1, 2. And then it's like, oh, yeah, maybe you don't really want to do this. But I just absolutely love to draw and write and create characters. And when I hear about kids that have turned them from a reluctant reader into a kid that's like, wow, maybe there are more books like this, or for me, that just is absolutely unbelievable.
Well, thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. And thank you, LitWorld, for all the support and all my fans and readers out there. I appreciate each and every one of you.
I mean, what a treat to listen to Jerry, and then a live drawing on top of it. That is just such an awesome thing.
I know, I love it. In the first few World Read Aloud days, we got to see the old school version of that with a huge pad of paper and kids shouting out ideas. And I just love that he, on the spot, chose to make a live drawing with us here too. Well, we're hearing about donations flooding in on the back end. Here in my apartment, there's been a lot of chatter. I hear Chewbacca and Troll Doll have teamed up. They've made an anonymous donation. So see in the chat if you can guess which one is from them. We're appealing to interspecies donors tonight. So if you haven't given yet, then please do. You don't want to be left out.
Well, Dorothy, I can't believe our time has already flown by. Such a wonderful way to spend an evening. And I know I'm leaving this feeling so invigorated. I just want to thank everybody who joined us tonight. I hope you too leave feeling inspired and excited about the way that all of our Lit kids are going to change the world and feeling good about supporting that and wanting to be part of that movement and carry it forward with us. So thank you so much for joining tonight.
Absolutely. Shall we take a quick peek at how we're doing on the numbers? All right, amazing. Well, thank you all so much. And please keep spreading the word to your friends and family. We take donations year round, as it turns out. Thank you so much for being a part of this special evening.
Shooting stars.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be creative.
It has been an awesome journey for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up with the good work.
Muchas gracias y que cuiden por eso.
Shooting stars. Shooting stars.
Shooting stars.